Everyone out there, we want to make a video to all of you because we want to give an update about Torben and the situation with him being falsely accused, and right now he's in jail. Because we know that there are many of you who have been wondering about the situation, and many of you have also been asking for an update. What is the situation about Torben and so on? And this is what this is a video about, where we want to give you an update from Torben himself, where I have a text where it was written down with Torben's word, where he wants to share to all of you. He wants to share his heart to all of you out there. What is the situation? Before I will read this text out loud, I also just want to encourage you that this is the second update from Torben himself. The very first update from Torben was posted on his official Facebook page, where you can go and write Torben Sondergaard. And there you can go one of this posts and find the very first update from Torben. And I really encourage you to go on his official page and read the first update if you haven't, so you can also now understand with the second update what I'm gonna read here and right now. So let's go to it. And this text was written on the 6th of July, and that is 2 days ago. And here is from Torben's word. And Torben says here, I want to start by saying thank you so much to all of you who are praying for me out there and for your support. It means so much to me and my family. It makes me cry every time I hear all the greetings and how you're all praying for me out there. Suddenly, I don't feel so alone anymore, because this is not easy, so it means so much to me. I'm now been here in 6 days in isolation, and the world out there seems so far away. I spend all day in my room, 7.13 feet, walking, praying, sitting on the bed, sleeping, or reading my Bible. Today I got another Bible. What a blessing. I've never been so happy to see a Bible in my life before. There is no sunlight here. There's no clock on the wall, and time is often difficult to tell. But 3 times a day I get food through a hole in the door, and there's a window in the door into a room where there are 4 benches, a vending machine where you can get toilet paper, a phone, and a TV. Everyone here is in the isolation, so we only come out 30 minutes every day, and there is not so much to look at except for different people sitting at the telephone half an hour per day, then the TV. I truly have a hate-love relationship with the TV. Sometimes it's nice to see things from the world outside, but other times they turn up the TV so loud that even though I can't really hear it because the thick door, it just sounds like a lot of noise and almost like torture sometimes. So I really hate that TV sometimes. I'm not saying any of this to complain, but I'm just giving you an insight into my days, that I spend the whole day in a small room, get a meal 3 times a day through the door, and then get out for 30 minutes per day. But to hear my wife's voice just make it so much easier. And to hear how you out there are praying for me really makes me happy, and it helps me and gives me a lot of encouragement. I have heard that we found a good lawyer. I have not talked with him yet, but I should be able to talk with him tomorrow, which I look forward to. Otherwise, I don't know so much about the future here, but I encourage you all to continue praying for me out there. It really means a lot. I'm seeking God, my Father, and I know that He is righteous. Psalms 37, verse 5 to 6 says, Commit your ways to the Lord. Trust also in Him, and He shall bring it to pass. He shall bring forth your righteousness as the light and your justice as the noonday. I took Paul's word today also in Philippians chapter 4, verse 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. And again I say, rejoice in the Lord. I know it's not always easy, and sometimes it's easier said than done. Someone might say, but Torben, you are in jail and you don't know what's happening. So it's really difficult to rejoice in the Lord. Yes, but that was exactly where Paul was when he wrote Philippians. Paul was also in jail, not knowing what would happen, And it was there he wrote Philippians, and that we should always rejoice in the Lord. So if he was able to do it, I should also be able to do it. Even though it's not easy, and there are times per day I really need to fight a lot to really keep my courage up. I would also like to say, like Paul, that I would love for people to have what I have, except for these chains. King Agrippa, do you believe the prophets? I know that you do. Then King Agrippa said to Paul, you almost persuade me to become a Christian. And Paul said, I would to God that not only you, but also all who hear me today might become both, almost and altogether such as I am, except for these chains. When he had said these things, then the king stood up, as well as the governor and Bernice, and those who sat with him. And when they had gone aside, they talked among themselves, saying, This man is doing nothing deserving of death or chain. And this was in Acts chapter 26, verse 27 to 31. God, he is real. Jesus is alive, and the Holy Spirit is the same today. My heart and prayer is that the church out there will experience this amazing life as a disciple of Christ, the life me and many of my friends are living, where we are led by the Holy Spirit, healing the sick, casting out demons, going in and seeing a whole household coming to Christ. Yes, there are many beautiful testimonies of what God has done these last few months and last years. And this is just part of being a disciple of Christ. If we go and read about the early church and how the early disciples lived, it really was a Holy Spirit-filled life with healing, miracles, signs and wonders, where they saw the whole house coming to faith. But it was also a life where they were being persecuted and put wrongfully in jail. So this is all real. And I would like everyone to have what I have experienced, except for these chains, as Paul was saying in Acts chapter 26. Jesus has promised us persecution. In Mark chapter 10, verse 16 to 20, Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But be aware of men, for they will deliver you up to councils and scourge you in their synagogues. You will be brought before governors and kings for my sake as a testimony to them and to the Gentiles. But when they deliver you up, do not worry about how or what you should speak, for it will be given to you in that hour what you should speak. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father who speaks in you. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16 to 20. So what's happening with me is part of following Christ and being a disciple of Jesus, even though it isn't easy. But Jesus never promised it will be easy. So I encourage you all to seek God and obey His word. Please praying for us, and I look forward so much to see you face to face and sharing more one day soon. God bless you out there. Love from Torben Sondergaard. So this is what Torben, his own word, what he says to where he wants to speak to all of you, to give you all of you these updates. As I said, this text was written 2 days ago, 6th of July. And we talk about now with the lawyer and so what's happening. And actually what's happening is that yesterday, 7th of July, Torben had this conversation with lawyer. And God is really, really on the move right now. Things are happening. I cannot say so much, all the details, what is going on. But I just really, really want to encourage you with this, what Torben is saying and everything what's happening. First of all, pray for Torben. Pray for Torben, pray for the lawyer, pray for this case, pray for his family. Put everything in God's hand. That is the best thing that we can do for now. Because prayer is a powerful thing, and we know that, and we just trust the Lord that He is really moving, and we already see it. But also, I also want to personally to encourage you, because now, for example, we read that Torben, he brought up the letters of Philippians, where Paul wrote this letter, And there he mentioned different things as while he was in jail, to rejoice in the Lord always. And I also want to encourage you, because many people seems to be sometimes worried about Torben, and I understand, because we love Torben, we truly love him, and we want to see this coming to a breakthrough where he comes out of the jail. But at the same time, as what Torben mentioned here, that he learns right now to be in jail, to rejoice in the Lord, us who are not in jail, let us also rejoice in the Lord always. Let us rejoice in the Lord together with Torben. Means to trust in the Lord in all of it, what's happening right now. Our good friend Lena Sondergaard, who is Torben's wife, she often say these words. This is often the words where she said again and again, and that is this: God is in control. God is in control. Lena and the whole family really trust the Lord that God is in control in the whole situation. And we do it too. And we also want to encourage you to put your trust in the Lord in this situation, and at the same time keep on praying. But one other thing I also want to encourage you, as what Paul says in the Philippians, he also said, because of my chains, it has given you confidence. It has given you more boldness to preach the gospel further, even more. And this is something that happened of the early church, that it encouraged the Christian, it encouraged disciples even more to preach the gospel because of the chains, because of Paul's imprisonment. And this I also want to encourage you, because what's happening right now with Torben Sondergaard, let this also give us encouragement and boldness at the same time to take the gospel further out. So all of you, God bless you, and I really hope that this encourages you. Bye-bye.